Hi. I worked on a 2016 Cadillac XTS with a dead infotainment queue, or the Cadillac User Experience system. The screen was black with no sign of life, and none of the controls were illuminated or functional. I went through the basics: fuses, relays, splice pack, connectors, pinouts, power, and ground, but the unit was only drawing a fraction of the current it should. Communication networks showed normal activity elsewhere on the scan tool, except for the radio, HVAC, and the queue system itself. Related devices on the LIN bus, such as the HMI module, or the Human Machine Interface Control Module, HVAC, and the radio had lost communication. I scoped the GM LAN wake-up signal from the BCM to the queue, and it looked good. The square waves were present and within range. I also checked the LIN bus line, and that signal was normal as well. Then I moved on to visually inspect the fiber optic lines and the most network using a scan tool. Sure enough, the IDs tied to the queue system and HVAC controls were unrecognized and failed to initialize. At that point, I had everything I needed to call it a bad queue system. I contacted a reputable supplier, but they pushed back, saying that if the screen was dark and the controls had no power, it could not possibly be the queue system at fault, and they refused to sell me one. Since they are one of the largest suppliers of these systems, I went back through everything. Same results, no faults outside the unit. So I opened up the queue system and found a burnt capacitor, which I replaced. The unit still would not power on. After fiddling with it, I noticed brittle internal connectors, and when they were positioned just right, the unit would power up. That was all the proof I needed. The queue itself was the failure. I probably could have patched it, but for long-term reliability, I chose to install a new unit from another supplier, got everything working, and confirmed my diagnosis. Moral of the story: networks don't lie. And good diagnostics don't need outside validation.